Welcome to this week's OK at Work with myself, Sarah Sawyer, my colleague Russell Berger, attorneys at Offit Kurman. And today we are talking about quiet firing. So not that long ago, maybe a week or two ago, we talked about quiet quitting, which has gotten a lot of publicity lately. There's been a lot of articles. Well, now there's been a lot of articles about quiet firing. So what is quiet firing, and what should employers know about it? Should they do it? What do we need to know, Russell?
Yeah, so if quiet quitting is just kind of not putting the employee, not putting in the effort, just kind of doing the minimum to get by, not really being engaged, and just punching the clock, collecting a check, and not doing anything beyond the bare minimum. Quiet firing is kind of the manager version of that, where the manager puts their head in the sand, doesn't address, doesn't manage, just lets problems go, doesn't create or look for or promote opportunities for the employee. It's really just like kind of, look, you're just here. I'm not taking any real interest in you. I'm not investing in you. I just want you to punch the clock and we'll get through the day.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, I'd say we would recommend not doing that. So we'll start there. That really, it's kind of similar to a lot of the things that we talk about on OK at Work, is that, being proactive and managing employees is a really important thing to do for efficiency and for managing liability and for a lot of different reasons. And so quiet firing, or just kind of just ignoring a problem, just kind of boxing the person out, and just kind of they're still employed, but they're not really active on the team or in meetings or things. It's really not the best way to handle things, I would say. And it creates all kinds of issues.
That's right. I mean, when you as a manager don't address something, you're licensing it and you're giving permission for it to continue. So when you quiet fire or you stick your head in the sand, I mean, whatever that frustrating, underperforming behavior is going to continue because you're not addressing it. You're not managing. You're saying, hey, this is okay. This is good enough. If it wasn't good enough, you'd hear from me, and you're not hearing from me. That's the message that the employee is getting. So it certainly doesn't help. If it's someone who's kind of mediocre, and that's why the manager is checking out and quiet firing, they're not going to improve. You're not going to get any better. It's kind of a resignation to, like, this is just going to be what it is, and that's good enough. I don't care. And that's not really ideal from a management standpoint. That's not ideal from a morale or an engagement standpoint. And as you started to mention, Sarah, it's not good from a legal standpoint because now you're not addressing the underperformance, which, among many things, leaves you vulnerable to a charge of discrimination or harassment or retaliation, whatever it might be. You haven't done the work to establish that the person was an underperformer.
And I've seen this happen a lot with retaliation claims, where someone, managers or a company is kind of just letting some things slide and just kind of ignoring the underperformance, not really dealing with it. And then that person files a claim, and then all of a sudden the company goes, well, now we need to deal with this issue with this employee, and they've always had poor performance. And it's like, well, have you been talking to them about that? No. Yeah, so that's just one of many reasons, and that's a place that I see it a lot, is in retaliation, when someone's made a claim or something does come to the surface, and now all of a sudden the company's paying attention to this employee, and not necessarily maliciously, but now that it's on their radar, they start looking at everything else, and it's just too late at that point often.
Yeah, so sticking your head in the sand as a manager, bad. Proactive, good, and that just means engaging, addressing issues. And we've talked about micro feedback and doing write-ups and getting to the stages of performance improvement plans. I mean, all that proactive, affirmative management is what a manager is supposed to do. So that's really the antidote to quiet firing from where I sit.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Russell, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Sarah.